Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to talk about the movie La La Land and how it uses both editing techniques and color theory to tell the story and shape the audience's emotional experience. To start with editing, one of the biggest things I notice in La La Land is how smooth and almost invisible the editing is. A lot of scenes use longer takes and fluid camera movement, so you don't really notice when cuts occur. This fits with the idea of invisible editing, where the audience stays focused on the story rather than the editing. A great example is the opening freeway scene, where the movement, choreography, and editing all work together to create excitement without feeling choppy. At the same time, the film also uses editing rhythm, or what we talked about as glancing rhythm, to control how scenes feel. During musical numbers, the cuts are quicker and more energetic, which makes the scenes feel exciting and alive. But in more emotional moments, like when Mia and Sebastian are talking about their futures, the pacing slows down. This gives the audience time to reflect and really feel what the characters are going through. The film also uses montage-like sequences to show the passage of time, especially in Mia's acting journey and Sebastian's career. These sequences focus more on emotional progression than strict logic, which fits the idea of montage as a kind of visual storytelling. Now moving into color, which is honestly one of the more important parts in this movie in my opinion. La La Land uses color very intentionally, and each main character is associated with specific color tendencies. While Mia is more associated with bold, expressive colors, and Sebastian with more muted tones, I noticed that Mia is frequently connected with the color blue, while Sebastian is often tied to red and other warmer tones. Mia's use of blue, especially in key emotional scenes, gives her more of a reflective and dreamlike quality. Since blue is a receding color, it can make her feel more distant or introspective, especially when she's struggling with career or unsure about her future. On the other hand, Sebastian being connected to red and warmer tones, which are advancing colors, makes him feel more grounded, passionate, and rooted, especially in his love for jazz and his desire to hold on to the past. What's really interesting is how these colors interact depending on their relationship. When Mia and Sebastian are together and things are going well, their colors tend to blend or complement each other, creating a sense of harmony. The contrast between blue and red can even function like a complementary pairing, which visually reinforces their connection. But as they begin to drift apart and focus more on their individual goals, their colors become more separated and isolated. Mia's cooler tones and Sebastian's warmer tones don't blend as much, and the visual harmony starts to break down. This reflects their emotional distance without the film needing to say it directly. You can really see this use of color in specific scenes. In the planetarium scene, the deep blue creates dreamlike, almost weightless feeling that reflects Mia's perspective and the fantasy of their relationship. Then later in the final montage scene, the film shifts through multiple bold, stylized color palettes to show an imagined version of their life together. These color changes aren't realistic, they're more emotional, which makes them more powerful. Instead of just creating depth, color in this film works more as a guide for emotion and focus. It subtly draws our attention to specific characters or filling in a scene, helping us understand what matters without restoring to extra dialogue. In addition, colors sometimes used expressively, especially in the final dreamlike sequence. The colors become more stylized and unrealistic, reflecting what their lives could have been rather than what actually happened. This gives the scene a surreal, more fantasy-like quality, and shows how color can represent emotion and memory, not just reality. Overall, I think La La Land is a great example of how editing and color work together to tell a story. The editing controls the pacing and emotional timing, while color reinforces colors, relationships, and the mood. Together, they can make a film feel both realistic and magical at the same time. Thank you for listening.